This is the 10th lecture in Riemann integration course. In the last class, we had seen this lemma while finding relations between refinements and norms. This lemma was quite a boring one, but we had to swallow the bitter medicine for our future good. Now, next one, we will start with this theorem today. This is Darbo's theorem. Let f be a bounded function defined over a closed and bounded interval AB. Then for any epsilon positive, we find a delta such that for every partition P of AB with norm P less than delta, we have lower integral minus epsilon is exceeded by lower sum with respect to P is less than or equal to UPF is less than or equal to upper integral plus epsilon. Before going to the proof, let us understand the motivation behind this theorem. Remember, at this point, our main goal is to establish the equivalence of the two definitions of integrability, the Darboux definition and the definition by Riemann. In the definition of Riemann, there was an element of norms of partitions going to zero, which we interpreted as something will happen for every partition with norm smaller than delta. This something will happen with norm smaller than delta. Then this theorem is a step towards that direction using the sense of definition by Darboux. Now this one is the supremum. Remember, the lower integral is the supremum of LPF and the upper integral is the infimum of the UPF. So supremum, by the supremum property, if you reduce that any further, minus epsilon, so there will be something which will exceed that, nothing to do with lower sum, integration, Darboux, Riemann, nothing. This is the definition of supremum. There will be some quantity which will be smaller than the infimum, increased by any little quantity. Nothing surprising here. What surprising is that this will happen for all partitions with norm P less than delta. That is what is implied in this theorem. Okay, for a single partition, this is not a very important one, but this is guaranteed for a huge chunk of partitions, for every partition with norm P less than delta. That is the strength of this theorem, Darboux's theorem. There is a remark. Actually, the inequality contains more elements. If you see LPF, this is definitely smaller than or equal to lower integral, and lower integral is smaller than or equal to upper integral. Upper integral is smaller than or equal to every UPF and this one. Okay, so this inequality we will use later. Lower integral minus epsilon is smaller than LPF is less than or equal to. So these two quantities will be shoved between LPF and UPF any time, because this is the supremum, so it will be greater than everything. This is the infimum of these things, so it will be less than everything, and this one is less than or equal to this one. So for any pair of LPF UPF, these ones can be shoved in between. So let's see the proof. Since f is bounded on AB, there exists a bound capital B greater than 0 such that fx is mod f is less than equal to p. Choose epsilon arbitrary. Now we are starting the proof. Since the upper integral is the infimum, then for the chosen epsilon, we must find a partition Q1 such that the upper sum of Q1 is smaller than the upper integral plus epsilon by 2. This is the infimum. We have increased by epsilon by 2 portion here. So there must be a violatory partition for which the upper sum will be smaller than this increased quantity. Now, let Q1 be this one, be represented by as these points, x0, x1, up to xn. Fine. Call, so this is your delta 1 we are talking about. We are supposed to prove the existence of a delta. So there exists a delta. So this is my delta 1. Why is delta 1? This is delta 1 for the upper sum. We will find the delta 2 for the lower sum, and then we will take the minimum of these two deltas and say that will work for both upper sum and the lower sum. If you look into the book by MAPA, this one is actually broken in two ways. One thing is for the lower sum, one statement is for the upper sums. I have taken these two things together. So delta 1 is my delta for the upper sums. So called delta 1 is epsilon by 4 capital B. B is the bound times n minus 1. Okay, why this weird quantity you will see in a moment. This is motivated by the lemma from the earlier day. Okay, so this is my delta 1, and then let P be any partition of AB with norm P less than delta. This will be delta 1, of course. So this is our usual technique. P dash is P union Q1. P dash is a refinement of both P as well as of Q1. Okay, fine. Then P dash is a refinement of P by adjoining at most n minus 1 points. Look at Q1. Q1 has n plus 1 many points in total. It starts from 0, goes till n. In these n plus 1 many points, P dash is a refinement. So, and every partition, B, P dash, P, Q1, everything starts with this A and ends with this B. That is how partitions are defined. So, in between, we have x1 to xn minus 1, n minus 1 many points in Q1. When we are taking the union with P and Q1, P can gather at most these n minus 1 many points. Because why at most? Because some of them may be common with P. So P can gather at most n minus 1 many points from Q1 and become the refinement P dashed. So then P dashed is a refinement of P by adjoining at most n minus 1 many points. Then we will apply the lemma from the last class. Pk is a refinement obtained by adjoining k many additional points. So what did the lemma say? UPF minus UPKF is less than or equal to supremum of the function in the entire interval minus infimum of the function in the entire interval AB times k. K is the number of adjoint points and delta is the norm of the partition. I am applying that over here. So UPF minus UP dash f, this P dash is my refinement, is the supremum of the function in the entire interval minus infimum of the function in the entire interval. N minus 1 are my number of points, additional points, and this is delta is the norm of the partition. So this one is strictly less than m minus capital M minus small m times n minus 1 times delta. Okay, this much portion we got from the lemma. Here you see capital M minus small m. This is less than equal to 2 times B. B is the upper bound over here. Why this is true? Capital M minus small m. This is definitely as this one because this is definitely non-negative. So modulus of m minus m. Now we apply the triangle inequality. This is less than or equal to this plus this, and this one is the supremum and B is any upper bound of the function. This is the least upper bound and this is the upper bound. So this is definitely smaller than or equal to B, and infimum is definitely smaller than or equal to upper. And this is 2B. 2B times n minus 1 times delta. So this one is smaller than or equal to 2B. Now by the choice of delta, here also it will be delta 1. This will be delta 1, this will be delta 1. Delta 1, delta 1, delta 1. Okay. And now what is your delta 1? Epsilon by 4B times n minus 1. So this is 2B times n minus 1 times delta 1 is epsilon by 2. So this is epsilon by 2. And so therefore UPF is less than UP dash F plus epsilon by 2. So we got this part. So this happens for every partition P with norm P less than delta. But P dash is also a refinement of Q1 as well. P dash is definitely a refinement of Q1. So therefore UP dash F is smaller than UQ1 F. This is one of those results we saw earlier, that as you refine the partition, upper sums decrease, lower sums increase. So from star and double star, from the double star, UPF is less than UP dash F plus epsilon by 2. This is we get from the double star. Now UP dash F is smaller than or equal to UQ1F. This one is smaller than UQ1F simply because P1 is a refinement of Q1. This happens plus epsilon by 2 hanging around just like that. And lastly, this UQ1F. Now here look at star. UQ1F is less than this one, the upper integral of F plus epsilon by 2. So this one is less than epsilon by 2. This one is less than epsilon by 2 plus epsilon by 2. I also missed to write plus epsilon by 2 over here. So finally we got the inequality as UPF is smaller than upper integral plus epsilon. And for which P? For any P with norm P less than delta 1. Now we do the same thing for lower sums. So since lower integral is the supremum of all the lower sums, then for the same chosen epsilon, there exists a partition Q2 such that lower integral minus epsilon by 2 is smaller than lower sum with respect to Q2 is less than or equal to this one. Then let Q2 have m plus 1 many elements, then call delta 2 as epsilon by 4b times m minus 1. And the same thing, then by lemma, the same lemma again, and following the exact similar procedure as above, we obtain that for any partition P of AB with non P less than delta 2, this will be, I have made so many mistakes today. that lower integral minus epsilon is less than LPF. This happens for every partition with norm less than delta 2. Call delta as minimum of delta 1 and delta 2. Then combining 1 and 2, we get that for every partition P with norm P less than delta, this will be true because that delta is smaller than delta 2. So if some partition is with norm less than delta, that norm will be less than delta 2 as well. So this will be true. That norm will be smaller than delta 1 as well. So this will be true as well. So and this is definitely true. LPF is for any partition is smaller than or equal to UPF. So this entire inequality is true. Lower integral minus epsilon less than LPF less than or equal to UPF less than upper integral plus epsilon. This proves the theorem.